What's going on for you? How could I help?
So basically, I've been having a hard time starting studying for the LSAT. I'm still in undergrad, so it's been kind of hard juggling both like 4 classes and I'm in a sport and then making time to study. So I really want to kind of get an idea of where is a good place to start and then go from there.
Sure. Well, let's start first with finding the time because it sounds like you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
All these other things you have, your classes, your sports, other activities, other obligations, many of those are scheduled, right? You
Hmm.
meet Mondays for this class, you meet Fridays for that athletic activity, whatever. But LSAT prep typically is something you do on your own. So
Yeah,
there's no
totally.
time blocked out on the schedule for it. Have you ever tried blocking out time for it?
I have. And
What does
then I
that look
end up,
like?
usually it would be if I don't have class and I get through my homework, then I make time for it. But it's sometimes an hour, sometimes it's half an hour, and it's very varied. So I feel like it's not enough time for me to really sit down and focus because then I have to go on to the next thing.
Right, right. So what I heard there was you have the class, you get your work done for the class, then, and perhaps only then, you move on to the
Yeah.
LSAT prep. To me, that's not blocking out time. To me, blocking out time would mean on my planner or in Google Calendar, whatever system you use, you've blocked off maybe even the week before, Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. is LSAT prep time, whether my homework for my class is done or not. The homework
Okay.
will happen after the LSAT. What if the LSAT prep was the first priority and the homework was the second priority?
Right. Okay. I guess my fear then is then keeping up grades and keeping up with all this work because my major is more reading intensive. So it does take a lot more time to get through the work than like let's say if I was doing something else. So I guess like figuring out how to get through it all is kind of where my issues are right now.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. And the more obligations you pile on top of yourself, the more the time has to
Hmm.
be distributed, right?
Yeah.
The most limited resource in the universe is time. It's finite, it's scarce. Nobody knows how to create more of it.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately.
the other thing is that when it comes to classes and extracurriculars, those, again, like also because they're scheduled, there are also benchmarks along the way, right? Like there's an assignment due by this date. There's a
Hmm.
game by this date as well. We have to get ready for all of these events.
Yeah.
LSAT prep, there's only one big event at the end of the road, and that's test day. There's nothing before that. So
Right.
you can either create something before that. People might have benchmarks or goals they want to hit. That goal could be score based, which is tricky, obviously, because there's fluctuations. Linear is not, progression is not linear.
Yeah.
But what you can do alternatively is you could say, I want to have completed 100 problems by Friday, or I want to
Okay.
have worked through these chapters or these lessons or these videos by this day. One
Right.
of the things I've done that's been extraordinarily successful is creating study plans for students so that step by step, day by day, you know
Right.
exactly what to do and what not to do every single day over the course of your prep. And the benchmarks are all built in for literally every single day between starting day and test day.
Hmm.
So that might be
Okay.
something to play with too. School,
Okay.
yeah,
That's,
school may suffer,
yeah.
but you've got to decide what's the top priority here. Because
Right.
if your goal is law school, they actually care more about your LSAT score than your GPA. And they
Right.
care even more about your overall GPA than any one individual class. So that one
Right.
class you have that one assignment for is like 1% of the puzzle or 1% of the pie, but your LSAT score is like more than 50%, or at least a
Right.
preponderance or a majority.
Totally. Totally.
So those are just some things to keep in mind.
Yeah. I think once I get, because I'm not taking it until next year, so I still have some time to sort of figure it out and time myself out. But I didn't want to just wait till the last minute when I had to get started to figure out how I was going to get started.
For sure. And just for those listening and watching later, you're saying the next year as in 2021, because we're talking right now in
Yeah.
January 2020. So you're
Yeah.
thinking
No,
about this over
2021.
1 year away.
Yeah. But because I know that I personally am not the best test taker, I need to prepare more than probably the average person because I need to be sure that I can do well. And I don't want to have to retake it so many times, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think it's great you're thinking so far ahead about this. I mean, over a year is a long time, and that's part of why it can seem like a lower priority. And perhaps in the short
Yeah.
term for you, it's okay that it be relatively lower. I don't want you to turn in some college assignment late because of the LSAT if the LSAT's a year away. But you could budget out even just an hour or two a week for now, and
Okay.
then later level it up.
I guess my next thing would be, would that be sufficient time if I'm not focusing multiple hours of my week? And I guess that's why I'm starting so early, because right now I can't give it so much time, but I also graduate this spring. So after that, I would have way more time to dedicate to it. But right now, I guess an hour is okay, or maybe like a few minutes here and there, or just interacting with it in some sort of way, I guess is better than nothing.
Yeah, I definitely think some general exposure for now is good. Maybe an hour here or there is totally fine. And then once you graduate, then you could start really getting into it more seriously. I think that's enough. And you could even for now, like listen to the LSAT Unplugged podcast, watch the LSAT Unplugged YouTube channel, read articles on my site here or there, just to get something, just to get that general exposure to be thinking about this and the kinds of issues that arise that you'll be facing down the road. So you could watch or listen to my other LSAT coaching sessions to get a sense of the kinds of issues that students in your shoes face, because you'll be in that position 3 to 6 months from now or more.
Right. Totally.
Awesome. Well, any other questions for you today? What else is going on?
I mean, I guess aside from that, just getting started in general, like applying and just figuring all of that out. Right now, I'm like struggling with letters of recommendation, really asking for them, not so much that I don't have who to ask. And then just the basic application stuff.
Yeah, sure. And I'm also glad you're thinking about letters of rec, because that is one thing you want to have done far in advance.
Yeah. And I only have 2 quarters left at this school, so I have to get on that.
Yeah. So I would say first off is develop good relationships with your professors, meaning go to office hours, raise your hand in class, do your best with your assignments, of course. And then you'll make an impression on them so that when you ask for that letter, you actually have a relationship with them. I mean, most classes have at least a couple dozen students in them, if not many, many more. It's hard to stand out. But how many people raise their hands when the professor asks a question? How many people go to office hours?
Right.
Very, very few. But they love it. I mean, they're passionate about their topic, and most students are just fulfilling some requirement. So if you stand out in that way, you'll get a better letter. The next thing you can do is actually help them write the best letter possible by submitting to them either an early draft of your personal statement or a handful of bullet points about why you want to go to law school and things you've done in their class. Like, what was the topic of your term paper, for example?
Okay. That's actually, that's good to keep in mind, because with everything, it's so hard to like have like an actual way of like doing everything. So I think, especially right now with everything and graduation and the way of the pace of the quarters, I kind of forget that I have to keep these things going in order to like really develop the relationship.
Yeah, of course. But you got time. Just think about that part for now, the relationship. Then the ask comes later, but still not too much later. Like as soon as the semester or the quarter is done, make the request then, because it does take time. And they'll ask, when do you need it by? And if you're applying this fall or for the upcoming cycle, then I would suggest, say you want it by the beginning of the fall. And I would say then that anyway, just because it's possible. And also because that way you have the letter locked down. If you wait until like a couple of years from now, if you're applying then, the memory of you won't be as fresh.
That's right. And I guess for submitting, can I start the application so then they can submit the letters and then they're kind of there, just so I don't have to like keep track of them? Because I don't submit the letters, they do, correct?
They do. It'll go into your LSAT account.
Okay, so then could they submit them now even if my application isn't fully ready?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good to know.
Great. Awesome.
I think that's it. And my main thing is just getting started. I think that's like, it's part of a bit of anxiety / not sure where. So that was the main thing for me.
Yeah. Great. So I would say for now, focus on the relationship with the professors, do a little bit of light LSAT stuff, but then really focus on it once you graduate.
Yeah. Awesome. And yeah, I have most of your resources, so I kind of know where to start.
Great. Well, I'm really glad we connected today, Louisa. Before we sign off, What would you say is the biggest insight you got from our call today?
I think just knowing that it's okay to start slowly, or like just take it little by little, because I feel like I overwhelm myself thinking I have so much to do that I just don't start it at all because I feel like I'm not doing enough. But it's okay to just do an hour here and there, or something is better than nothing, basically.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad we connected. Please keep in touch and let me know if I can help any way as you move forward.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.